Welcome back. In this lesson, I'll be showing you how to format the slide background. So first, I will show you how to get to this format background. So the first thing you're going to do, okay, let's clear some air first. You can see that we have title slide. I want everything to actually be empty. So to do that, I need to change the slide layout. So go here, click on layout and change it to blank. So everything is blank now. So if you need to change your slide layout, like you want to format it, maybe you want to add color, you want to add picture, so all you need to do is to right click on an empty area. Make sure it's an empty area, because what we have now everywhere is empty, just like we had before. If you have the text or picture, do not click on the picture, do not right click on the picture. So do not right click on the text box. Make sure you are right clicking on an empty area. So if you right click on an empty area, so you're going to see all this. So the one we are interested in now is the format background. Format background. So if you also right click outside like this, you can also see there is format background. Another place to get the format background from is to go to the design tab. So if you go to the design tab, click on design tab, you come to this place. You can also see format background here. So if you click on format background, you can see the format background panel opens on the right side of our canvas. Okay, so let me close it first, then let me open it from here. So right click on an empty area and come to format background, click on it, and you can see the same thing happen. Okay, so in the format background we have 4 options to actually format our background. So take it this way: formatting is simply a process of beautifying our slide. Like we want to change the color of the slide, maybe we want to add a single color. The single color there is the solid fill. So if you're adding one color, we use the solid fill. If you're adding more than one color, we use the gradient fill. Okay, another way to format our background is adding our own picture, or there are some predefined texture that comes in PowerPoint. We can also add that here. And then we also have pattern fill, which we can also add to our PowerPoint. So we're going to make things very simple. So first, let me go back to home to avoid any confusion there. So we're going to select the first one, which is solid fill, and you will notice that it's selected with this white dot at the middle. So it's selected. If it's not selected, just left click on it to select it. So solid fill is selected. That's a single color. And then immediately you will notice these two guys. We have the color bucket. So this bucket, that's for the color, and this transparency, if we need to actually make the color transparent, that's when we use this. So let me just select a color from this color bucket. So click on the fill color, and then let's select this blue color. As you can see, that is blue color. Let's select another color, orange. You can see that. Let's select another color. Let's say we select yellow. You can see that. Okay, let's select like dark blue. Okay, you can see that. So all this is the solid fill. Okay, you can play around with solid fill. Then this transparency. If you drag this transparency, so it's going to fade out the color. If it's on 0%, that means you're not doing any fading. So the color is still full. But if you drag the transparency to 100%, you have totally removed the color. Okay. So if that is not what you want to do, maybe you just want to fade in slightly. So you can maybe like 16, 17, like this. You can fade in slightly into your color. But if that's not what you want to do, you just want it to be on 0, you can drag it back to 0%. So the transparency is on 0. Okay, so that is how to format the background using the solid fill. So remember again, the solid fill is to add a single color. Now let's move to gradient fill. So in the gradient fill, we're going to be talking about different terminologies. Okay, bear with me as we go through all these terminologies together. So all these knobs you're seeing so that I can take my time to explain them to you. Okay, so the first one you're seeing here is the preset gradient. That means there are some gradients that have been defined for us already. You can click there to select any one you want for your background. So if I click on this now, you can see it change on the fly. If I select another one, change on the fly. Go back to preset gradient, select it, it change on the fly. Okay, go back to this place, click on it, it change on the fly. You can see that. Then I want you to also notice something. When I'm selecting this guy, then notice all these gradient stops. This is gradient stop, this is another gradient stop, this is another gradient stop. This is like 3 gradient stop. When I select different one, you should notice how many stops that is having right now. So let's select this one. Now this one is also having 3 gradient stop now, but the positioning is different. Let me select another one. Okay, this is also 3. Okay, now see this one has 4 gradient stops when I select that one. And then the type also, the gradient type also change to radial. Okay, I will explain this in detail. Okay, so let me just start from a ground up. Let me select this first one. So light gradient, that's the accent 1. Now it's showing 4 gradient stops. Okay, the first thing we want to do, we want to delete it so that we have 2 gradient stops left. So these 4 gradient stops simply means that we have 4 different colors that we have added, but we're going to simplify things. So first, I want to left click on this guy, one time, and then click on this icon here to remove the gradient stop. That's how to remove the gradient stop. Another way to remove the gradient stop, make sure this guy is selected. The gradient stop you want to remove, select it, just left click on it like this and drag it out. So you're going to see like it's fading out. So when you left click on it and you drag it out, that way you remove it from that particular gradient. Great. Now to simplify things, now we have one color which this gradient stop is on 0%, and we have another gradient stop on 100%. Okay, so I want you to take this way. Look at this position now. This position is the one I'm calling the 100%. So the position where is that, if I drag this guy now, you should notice the number changing. Okay, so let me drag it back to 100 position. And this one is on 0 position. When I click on it, it shows 0 position. If I also drag it, so the positioning is moving based on percentage. Great. So if I need to change the color of these stops, all I need to do is to select the stop I want to change its color. So let me change the color for the gradient stop at 100%. Select it by left clicking on it and go to this color bucket, click on it. Okay, so we'll make things very simple. So let me select this guy first, which is dark blue. So you notice what is happening right now. The dark blue is showing up here. So as the dark blue is showing up here, then we still have our white here. Okay, so let's make something crazy a little bit. So select this gradient stop on the 0%, and let's change the color to yellow. Click on this color bucket and let's change it to yellow. Okay, that's amazing. You're creating something nice. Good job. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is the direction. So the direction is currently on the angle 90 degree. It's currently on this angle 90 degree. If I click on this direction now, I can see different directions. So it's currently on this one. So if I select this one, you should notice, then notice the angle change to angle 45 degree. If I select this one, this change to 135 degree. If I select this next one, it change to angle 180 degree. If I select this one, change to angle 225 degree. Okay, so let's assume that I prefer to do something like this as my design. Okay, so if you look at the color dark blue, is showing at the top here. How about we make this color dark blue to actually encroach into this other color, which is yellow. If I need to do that, all you need to do is to click on this gradient stop on the 100% and drag it towards the left hand side. You can see now that the blue is encroaching into the yellow and is pushing the yellow away. Can you see that? So let us say you want to create something cool like this. You can actually leave it like this. Great. So that's how to change the direction. So you can also go back to this place to change the direction, or you can enter in an angle here. If you already know the angle you want to use, maybe you want to use angle 45 degree, you can just type 45 degree there. You can see that it changed on the fly when we use the 45 degree. You can further drag this back a little bit if you want, or you can even drag the yellow if you want. Okay, do you know we can also do some crazy things like overlapping the two gradient stop? How about we try that out? So the only thing you'll notice, okay, so let me do this before that. Let's drag it to 50%. If you cannot get 50% accurately, click on this down arrow or the up arrow to adjust it. This is the up arrow, so it's on 50%. Now let's drag this also to 50%. Okay, it's not exactly on 50%, so it's on 51. Click this to take it. Now you can see now the cool effect. We have created like the division of two colors. Yellow color is at the top and the dark blue color is below. So what you notice now, there is nothing like a position where a particular color blurred into another color. There is nothing like that. The reason why that is happening is because we overlap the two color on the same position. So if I drag the yellow away slightly, you should notice that the blurry effect is now coming through, is showing through. So the edge of that blue, the edge of that yellow is showing up to be blurred. You can see that. You can see as I drag away slightly, so we're having more of the blurring showing up. So it's blurring out the color, as you can see. As you can see, if I drag it away, it blurs some of those portions. Okay, great. So drag it to 100 and to 0%. That's great. So that's amazing. So another thing I want to show you is this type. So the type, we have different type. We have the linear. So it's currently on linear. If you click on this, so you're going to see linear, radial, rectangular, paths, and shade from title. Okay, so we're going to make things very simple. So we're not going to all the details for now. So we'll stick with the linear and the radial. So if I click on radial, you see right now how it's showing. So if you really want to get this, so let me drag this back to 100%. That's great. And another thing I want to do, let me go back to direction and select this one. So this is from center now. So you can see from center, it means whatever is on the 0% is the one that will be at the middle, and that's the one that will show most often, and the one at 100% is going to show at the edge. As you can see at the edge here, it's showing at the edge. So if you want the dark blue to actually encroaching into the yellow, drag it inside a little bit like this. You can drag it inside. Now it's encroaching and then it's actually taking the yellow out. So you can see if I drag it more like this, you can see now we have more of the dark blue now, and we only had little of the yellow color. Great. So let me drag it back. Okay, so that is how to actually use the type. So another thing I want to show you is how to add another color. If you need to add another color, so it's like you're adding another gradient stop. So I will show you two ways to do this. So let me, if you come to this place now, click here. If you click anywhere on this gradient stop, if you click anywhere here on this bar that you're seeing here, if you click anywhere, it's going to add another gradient stop. Okay, so if you single click, it's going to add a gradient stop. Okay, so let's delete one of the gradient stops. Select the gradient stop now and delete it. Okay, another place to add gradient stop from is this place. So if you click here again, it's going to add another gradient stop. So let me drag this to this side, and let me drag this to this side. Okay, so want to create something amazing. So there is 4 gradient stop now. This simply means that we have 4 colors. So let's make this very obvious. So let me select the gradient stop. This gradient stop is on 76 position. Select it, and we're going to change it to an obvious color. So let's select orange. Okay, so that's orange color. And then let's click on this gradient stop on 31%. Select it, and let's change the color now. Okay, let's use a color that will be obvious. Let's use purple. Okay, can you see what I'm seeing? We have created something amazing. This is fantastic. If you have actually add more than the gradient stop you need and you need to delete it, just left click on that gradient stop and drag it out. Okay, that's how to delete a gradient stop. So if you also want to delete it using the second method, select the gradient stop and click on this guy, and you have deleted that particular gradient stop. Amazing. You are doing fantastic job. Okay, so the next thing I want to explain to you, so let me select the yellow color, which is the gradient stop at the 5%. Okay, so let me drag it to 0% first. So it's on 0%. I want to use its transparency. So note currently that is on 0%. It means the color is still intact. The color yellow is still intact. If I drag this color yellow all the way to 100%, that means it will remove the color yellow completely. That's the meaning. So if you drag the transparency, that means you have fade out the yellow. You have fade out the yellow completely. But if I drag it to 50%, it simply means that I still have some of the yellow, but this time around it has faded out like some percentage portion of it. So if I drag it slightly, maybe having like 16% transparency, that means I've removed some of the yellows and I've washed out some. It means I've faded out some of it and I still have yellows showing up. This could be very useful if you're designing something. Maybe you have a picture at the background and you actually want to fade into that picture. You want that picture to show through. You can actually use this strategy to fade in that particular gradient stop. Okay, that's amazing. So let's select the second gradient stop now. Select the gradient stop. So let's just change the color. What color should we choose? Okay, let's just play around to see the green color. Green color is not fitting there. So how about we... Okay, let's make it this way. I'm going to select red color first for the first one. Then I'm going to make this red very dark. Or I want to select the same color first. So I've selected red for the gradient stop on 100%. So I'm going to click on the second gradient stop now and change it to red again. Okay, so you see that it's showing like single color now. It's showing like single color now. All I need to do now is to click on this, select this gradient stop on 100%. Now go back to the color bucket and you see more colors. Click on more colors, then go to custom, and this slider, drag it down a little bit to make it dark. So you should notice that it's very dark now. Click on OK now, then you can see it become very dark. That's a good one. So we can change it from radial back to linear. Yes, you've done a great job so far. Well done. Now let's look at the brightness. So the brightness, as the word sound, we can make something brighter, we can make something darker. That's the work of the brightness. So any of the gradient stop you actually want to make darker or lighter, you can select it for. So if we want to make, so let's take it from this gradient stop at the 100 position. Select it first by left clicking on it, and then let's drag it to 100%. So you see what is happening. It looks like it makes the red to become white. Okay, right? So but let's also drag it to the negative side, so you can see that it's making it to become darker. So negative 100%, so it makes the side to be darker. So I can also drag it to create some cool effect, maybe like this. But if that's not what you want to do, just click on it to drag it back to 100%. So the brightness now is on minus 100%. So let's drag it back to 0. In case you cannot get the 0 accurately, use this arrow, or you can even type 0 here. So if you press the down arrow, as simply is on negative, so it's going to -7. So you have to use the up arrow till you get to 0% like this, or you can type 0% here too. Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you, I'll be showing you this right now. That's this button here, apply to all. So to show you that, I'm going to create like 3 more slides so that you can see the demonstration of that. Okay, so it means apply to all. Anything we've done, if we apply gradient on a slide, or we apply solid fill on a slide, or we apply picture or texture fill or pattern fill on a slide, if we click apply to all, it means that same formatting that we done on that background will be applied to all the slides. Okay, so let me create 3 more slides so you can see how we do this. So to create a new slide, you can use the shortcut key Ctrl M. So if I press Ctrl M first time, okay, let me select this for, sorry. If I press Ctrl M first time, second time, okay, so the way I'm doing it, hold down your Ctrl and press M. Don't press M down. You press Ctrl, then you press M1. When you press M2 again, while you're still holding down Ctrl, it's going to be adding those slide into your presentation. So you have it like this. Now we have all the 3 slides now. Okay, so let me go back. Notice now that we're on slide 4. So if I need to go back to slide 1, so all you need to do, move your mouse on slide 1 and left click on it. Now we are back to slide 1, and we have this guy. We have set up the gradient stop, which have 2 colors. Now let's apply to all the 4 slides, all the other 3 slides we have now. If I click on apply to all, notice what happened here. Can you see on the fly? It applied the changes to all of them. Okay, great. So let me also demonstrate that by using solid fill. Let me select solid fill, and then let me choose another color entirely. Let's say I'm using this color here, which is light blue, and then let me click apply to all, and you can see that it apply blue color to all the slide. If you have 1000 slide, it means all the 1000 slide will have this solid fill color. Great, that's amazing. You're doing great job. Okay, so let me delete all this now. So all I need to do, if I need to select from slide 4 to slide 2, okay, this is the way to do it. Select slide 4, hold down your shift and click on slide 2. That way you'll be selecting all the slide from slide 2 to 4. That means you're selecting slide 2, 3 and 4. Then press your backspace or delete key to delete all those slides. Now we have deleted them. Great job, well done. So the next format background option that we're going to be looking at is the picture or texture fill. So click on picture or texture fill. On the fly, you can see now that we have some PowerPoint texture showing up right now. These are the texture fill. So the one showing up now on this canvas, this is called the texture fill. So if you want to see more of the texture fill, so just come to this icon here. If you click on this icon, you see more of it. So now if you look through very well, we have like 24 of these. So you can see we have 5, 5, 5, 5. That's 20 plus another 4. So that is 24 in total. So if you want to change to any of them, just left click on it and you change to it. Okay, great. So anyone you want to change to, left click on it and you will change to it. So this is the one we have now. So after you've changed the texture, another thing you can do is to use the transparency. Okay, so if you don't want the background to be showing through, maybe you have a text where you want the text to stand out, you can actually make this background to fade out. So if you drag the slider, okay, if you drag it away, as you can see now, if I drag it to 100%, that means it's going to remove all the texture, so you're not going to see anything again. So if I drag it back slightly, okay, this could be useful like this. Maybe I want my text or the object that I'm putting on my slide to stand out. All I need to do is to add a little bit of transparency so that the object that I try to put on it will actually show through. Okay, that's great, amazing, well done. So another thing I want to show you is this tile picture as texture. That means whatever is here. Okay, so let me click on this check mark first so you notice what is happening. Now look at it. This is the picture from PowerPoint. This picture is added to PowerPoint. Okay, so through this picture now, if we click on this check mark, that means we are converting this picture to a tile. That means a tile, that means it's going to create like smaller pictures that are joined together. So if I click on this check mark back, you can see it right here, and it's create like a cool effect. Okay, that's amazing, great. So this style picture as texture could be also useful if you can add your picture background here and still repeat the same strategy. Okay, let's look at the offset X. So if I click on the up arrow, notice what is happening. It's moving this to the right side. Can you see? So it's moving it to the right side. If I click on the down arrow, it will move it to the left side. If I click on the up arrow, so it's going to move it to the down side. Can you see that? So it's moving this down. If I click on the down arrow, it's going to move it up. You see that? So the offset is simply repositioning this style. Okay, so another thing we can use is the scale. So scale, if we need to make our picture larger or smaller, we can use the scale. So now we have scale 100% for X, scale 100% also for Y. Oh, let's see something amazing. Scale X, let's increase it a bit and see. Okay, so the highest scale is 100%. Okay, so let me reduce this to 50%. So select it and type 50. Okay, so you can see when I just type 5, you notice what happened to this slide right now. So 50%, you can see the way it's showing. So X axis is showing 50%. Then the Y axis, let's also make it 50%. Select it and type 50%. You can see now, it means we have actually scaled down our picture. So this could make sense. Maybe your picture is too big and you actually need to scale down. You can use this strategy of the scale S and the scale Y to reduce it. But a fancy thing to do is to make sure you use the same size for the percentage for the scale S and scale Y. So if you don't use the same thing, so it will look as if one might be longer than the other. Okay, great. So another thing you can do for your tile, you can actually align it. It's currently on top left. You can make it to go to the top, or you can make it to go to the bottom right. You can see that, or you can center it. Okay, so another thing we can also do is the mirror type. We can also specify the mirror type. So it's currently on none. So we can make it horizontal. So now it's creating like two versions of that horizontally. We can make it vertical. Can you see that? Is that not cool effect? Our nice fish, let's see what it has turned to. Now we can actually use both. Can you see the cool pattern that is creating right now? Okay, so This is all how to actually use these things. Okay, so remember your apply to all again. If you have more slides and you want them to have the same format background styling, all you need to do is to click on apply to all. Great job, well done.